Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2026 House Education Committee. First, we will take roll to ensure we have a quorum. Clerk may close the roll. A quorum is present. We're up for an exciting year. We thank you all so much for coming to what usually is the second busiest committee in the House of Delegates. Quite a lot of interest in this once sleepy committee. Now public education has risen to the top in many different ways. I am pleased to chair once again the House Education Committee, and we'd like to introduce some of our members. So we're going to start at the far end. Just your name and district.
Good morning. My name is Lindsay Doherty, and I represent the 75th House District, which is part of Chesterfield, all of Hopewell City, and then part of Prince George County, too.
Good morning. I'm Delegate Jessica Anderson. I represent the 71st District, which is all of the city of Williamsburg, a majority of James City County, and the eastern side of New Kent.
Good morning. I am Delegate Kelly Converse Fowler, and I represent the 96th District, and that is in Virginia Beach.
Good morning. I am Delegate Elizabeth Guzman, currently representing the 22nd District in Prince William County, and I'm happy to be back on this committee. It's the most exciting one in Richmond. Thank you. Look forward to working with everyone.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Shelley Simons. I represent District 70 in part of Newport News, Virginia.
And will be our vice chair this year.
Good morning. I am Delegate Brianna Sewell. I proudly represent the 25th District in Prince William County.
Good morning. I'm Alex Askew, Delegate for the 95th District. I represent Western Virginia Beach and Eastern Norfolk.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ray Cousins. I represent the 79th District, which covers parts of Richmond.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Delegate Amy Loeffler. I represent the 55th District, which is Albemarle County, Nelson, Louisa, and a tiny piece of Fluvanna. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Delegate Mike Cherry from the 74th House District.
Good morning. I'm Delegate Ann Farrell Tate. I represent the 99th District, which is the northeast part of Virginia Beach.
Good morning. Tom Garrett, represent the 56th District.
Eric Zier, District 51.
Good morning. I'm Delegate Hillary Pugh Kent, representing District 67, which is the Northern Neck and Caroline.
Great, thank you. And we have one that just walked in, Delegate LaVere Bowling.
Late for usual. Good morning. I'm Delegate Destiny LaVere Bowling, representing House District 80, which is portions of eastern and western Henrico County.
Thank you, and I will ask our staff to introduce themselves, starting with our staff attorney.
Good morning, Ryan Brimmer. I'm here to represent the committee on behalf of the Division of Legislative Services.
Hello, I'm Samantha Fiddler. I will be the committee clerk from Committee Operations.
I'm Randy Wright, Room Clerk A.
And also a playwright as well, amongst other things. So when we get bored, Randy, you'll entertain us. As usual, we look forward to a robust discussion around a variety of topics. All conversation, as conversation occurs, will be happening through the committee chairs. So as a committee chair or your subcommittee chairs, when you have questions, comments, either as a sitting legislator behind the dais or someone from the public, please ensure that your comments or questions are through the chair, as they will maintain decorum and order in lots of ways. The committee meetings are all live streamed, so for folks who cannot make it, they certainly can tune in. We also will be taking in subcommittee, likely not in full, but in subcommittee, we will be taking public testimony. As usual, we have about a year's worth of work that we do in 2 months. So that public testimony will have to be high and tight and limited, and we'll give specific instructions at the subcommittee so that way people know what to expect. But we certainly appreciate the input that you have. People are also welcome to give comments on bills online, as there's an online system for that as well. We will begin with a couple of presentations this morning. And so first we're going to invite our first speaker and get her slides up. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? I'm good. If you could please introduce yourself to the committee, and we certainly welcome you this morning to present to us.
I am Linda McNutt Foster, and I am the CEO of Cortex Leadership Consulting out of Roanoke, Virginia. So I just want to make sure my slides go up. Thank you so much. Okay, so good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I am here to offer a context-setting framework for you as you prepare to evaluate legislation on education and workforce readiness. My father was actually an English teacher in an inner-city school for high school in Miami, where I grew up. And he was also an artist and a small business owner. So I would go into his studio at night, and he would want to debate me feverishly about what I learned that day. And I would present evidence to him for what I was saying. He taught me to have discernment. He taught me to be able to defend what it was I was learning and how I was doing it. And he would challenge me. He would challenge my thinking. And most of all, he taught me to remain curious, as all teachers do. So, research is now showing that Virginia is currently entering an environment where speed is very easy to buy, but discernment, that's very hard to teach. So right now, Virginia ranks #1 in adoption for ChatGPT. That's a huge adoption growth. That sounds like success, but adoption is not the same thing as readiness. We are seeing AI adopted quickly in some of our school systems, certainly with some of our students, and in business, often without clear human oversight, ethical guardrails, or consistent judgment. The primary risk facing Virginia's workforce is not just job displacement, it's speed without direction. This is not a future issue for us. It is a current economic reality. Approximately 1.5 million jobs, about 35% of the workforce in the Commonwealth, are exposed to AI impacts today. Many of these are knowledge workers, yet the recent studies show only 27% of workers or their leaders report training being available. When we treat AI as just a software output, we get more output, but we don't get better outcomes. AI can generate text, it can generate answers, but it cannot be responsible for it. It cannot replace judgment, discernment, or ethics. What we are missing from our research that we've been doing are guidance layers. We need to shift our focus from buying tools to training the humans who steer them. The question for this committee isn't how fast can we integrate into schools. The better question is, do we have people with the judgment to actually use them safely and effectively? So what do we actually want you to train on? What makes a student, what makes a company right now want to hire people? What is AI readiness? Well, it turns out there's 6 teachable capabilities. The most important one from my research over the last 15 years is outcome framing. Only 6% of leaders are strong at looking at a blank page or a blinking cursor and being able to actually ask it, what does right look like at the end after we've solved this problem? Evidence discipline. What sources are we putting in? Are those good sources? Do you even know how to control those sources? Ethical judgment really isn't in play in most of these systems, even the way they're being built or deployed or used. Empathy, because AI doesn't do human emotions, it just mimics them. It doesn't build connections, true connections and relationships. That's what we do. That's what people do. Collaborating and co-thinking, being able to work together. This is what I'm teaching. This is what my AI Strategic Leader program is doing with small groups of leaders. How are we going to work together? And don't share the same point of view, right? How do we start having a higher level of conversational intelligence with ourselves, much less the machines that we're talking to? So output discernment, being able to tell when what AI puts out is actually accurate. It doesn't just look good or sound good. These are not soft skills. In AI economy, these are durable economic skills. These skills must be taught in K-12 to hardwire them in people's mindset at work. If assignments don't require reasoning and evidence, students will outsource their thinking to the machines. The AI in their screens and in their robots are the ones that will be directing them. We must design education at every level, from kindergarten through college, and help people realize this is a lifelong learning endeavor now. We must design that education and integrate the output, not just to submit it. So the question is, will we lead AI agents, or are we going to let them lead us? In order not to, we need to prepare thinkers, not just tool users. Virginia's opportunity right now, at this moment, is to lead human capability. You will likely review hundreds of bills in the coming weeks about getting students ready for the coming age of AI. My recommendation right now to you, and this is serious because I live this every single day in companies with leaders. My recommendation to you is use this human edge as a lens for every piece of legislation that you consider. Does this bill fund the tool and the necessary training for the workers who will be steering it? Virginia has the opportunity to lead this nation. I couldn't be more passionate about that to you. Like, it's you right now that need to lead this, that need to build that human capacity. So it's not just about the tools, but in preparing the people who master and lead them, and it starts with you. It's up to you.
Thank you, Linda. I appreciate your leadership and the CEO training that you do on AI in many different ways. I think the biggest concern in the horizon as we have been coming out of the education summit that we just had is what does the future of the workforce look like? What does the future of education look like, especially when we're having the further integration of AI tools? For sure, we have seen some recent studies that show the cognitive decline, and especially in secondary students. And I don't think that we have quite figured out how to approach it from an education perspective in lots of different ways. So with that, we'll open it up to a couple of brief questions. First, Delegate Laufer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say thank you so much for bringing this up. I know this is a top priority, at least for me. I have presented a bill, it's House Joint Resolution 32, for a study on higher ed and how it's being both implemented by our professionals that are teaching, as well as assessment tools, and how are we teaching our students to use it. I think it is going to be the most transformative technology that we're going to see. I mean, this is more than the computer and the internet, et cetera. So I really appreciate both you and the chair bringing this up today. Thank you.
Thank you. I will add that the speed of those surveys and research need to go very quickly anymore because it's changing so fast. So I think the faster we can get the studies done and processed using artificial intelligence to do those and create those would be really helpful. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to add to as well, I'm very grateful for this information. I actually met with the head of our new department over at William & Mary, the School of Computing, Data Science, and Technology, and this was a huge conversation piece about ensuring K through 12 is prepared. This is an entire department dedicated to working with AI for students, and many students coming in, they are finding have used AI either as a crutch and are incapable of thinking independently, or the opposite is true. A parent like myself who tries to make my children avoid AI at all cost have come in with no knowledge, and really, they're actually the better ones coming in because they're able to learn that and they are able to, think independently and critically. But yeah, I'm really anxious to see some policy to address this and make sure training is in place. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I think your specific point around ensuring that there's reasoning and evidence that students are being able to use certainly ensures that we're balancing the critical thinking skills as we move forward. And certainly the empathy and ethical considerations are important. We thank you, Linda, for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Next, we will have a presentation by Ashley Kenneth from the Commonwealth Institute. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
You too.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. As soon as we get your slides up and going, you can take it away.
Good morning, Chair Rasul, members of the committee. My name is Ashley C. Kenneth, and I'm the president and CEO at the Commonwealth Institute, and I'm joined today by Levi Gorin, TCI's Director of Research and Education Policy, and we thank you for the opportunity to present to you this morning. TCI is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that advances racial and economic justice in Virginia by advocating for public policies that are designed in partnership and shaped by credible, accessible fiscal and policy research. We believe that children in every part of the Commonwealth deserve to have the resources and support they need to learn and thrive, no matter what they look like or how much money their parents have. We want this because our children deserve it, and because we know that the opportunity that is provided through education is the foundation of a strong, multiracial democracy. Two big questions to ask about how we get there are: how do we calculate how much is needed for a high-quality education, and what share of that is paid by the state? The state of play is that parents can't afford childcare. Childcare workers can't afford to pay their bills, and childcare businesses can't afford to pay their workers more. The status quo isn't working. The general fund support provided during the 2024 session to avoid the childcare cliff was an important step, and there's more work to do. One idea that you will see this session is to develop a childcare calculation structure to provide accurate, predictable, and transparent information on the level of funding needed for Virginia's childcare system. To understand where we are now on K-12, we have to look back at the cuts that were made during the Great Recession. A generation of students went through schools with reduced support staff, sagging teacher salaries, and aging infrastructure. Then the pandemic hit. In recent years, the General Assembly responded to the calls of students, parents, and teachers for improvements and has made progress. That's shown in this graph, which measures inflation-adjusted per-pupil funding for Virginia's local school divisions. For the 22-23 school year, state support for Virginia students finally rose to above pre-Great Recession levels, boosted by beginning to unwind the arbitrary cap on state funding for support staff. And in the policies and budgets you adopted over the past 2 years, you finished lifting that support cap and started to fund the near-term recommendations that from JLARC to improve educational opportunity for students facing particularly high barriers to success. As a reminder, the 2023 JLARC report included a number of policy recommendations and options, including shifting to a simpler, more transparent, and hopefully more adequate and equitable student-based funding formula, JLARC also recommended some improvements for Virginia's existing student-based formula for low-income students. In the 2024 special session, you made significant progress on that, shifting to better data, improving funding adequacy, and moving the add-on into the main funding formula. That was unfortunately vetoed by Governor Youngkin, but legislation has been reintroduced this session. In 2024, you also created tiered calculations of instructor needs for English language learners based on student proficiency. And last year, you took the important step of creating a flexible add-on for students with disabilities. Even with all this progress, there is more work for us to do. The Education Law Center's analysis released last month uses combined state and local funding data from the 22-23 school year and shows us that Virginia provides less than the national average in terms of funding levels and less to high needs than low needs schools, earning a D grade for adequacy and a C for funding equity. They also found that Virginia does less than most states compared to our economic capacity, earning a D grade for effort. This session, we look forward to conversations about boosting student-based add-ons while the work on the larger funding formula continues. The JLARC report included a look at other states and a summary of the midpoint of what is recommended as add-ons for higher need students. Those midpoints for the needed additional funding above the baseline for all students are 35% for students from low-income families, 40% for English language learners, and 105% for students with disabilities. TCI recently did some analysis to look at where we stand compared to those midpoints from other states. We're at about 22% for students from low-income families, 24% for English language learners, and 43% for students with disabilities. I will close by saying thank you. TCI stands ready to provide technical support. You should have already received our summary of the governor's proposed changes to the budget, and you can expect to see our side-by-side summary of the House and Senate committee budgets in advance of your floor vote in February. For some proposed budget amendments, we are able to provide district-by-district estimates of the funding impact, and an example of that from last year is on this slide. Please feel free to reach out to me or to any of our policy staff with any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kenneth. We appreciate your presentation, and we certainly all appreciate the wonderful, I'll just call it a cheat sheet with a very thick budget. It allows us to ensure that we're able to process a lot of information very quickly, and we appreciate your research. If there are any questions for Ms. Kenneth? If there are none, we thank you for your presentation this morning.
Thank you.
Lastly, before we adjourn, the subcommittee assignments will be posted here shortly and give you an idea of what the subcommittees are. The subcommittee meetings structure will be similar to last year. So the K-12 subcommittee will be meeting at 7:30 a.m. on Tuesday mornings. There is also a 4 p.m. additional meeting sometimes on those Tuesdays, should we need it. That will not be happening tomorrow, but we will have the 7:30 meeting tomorrow, and there will be a docket posted very shortly with some initial bills that will be heard at 7:30 a.m. tomorrow in this room. The K-12 subcommittee will be chaired by Delegate Simons. The following members are on the K-12 subcommittee, and this will be posted online here shortly. Delegate Askew, Delegate Cousins, Delegate Lavier Bowling, Delegate Doherty, Delegate Anderson, Delegate Cherry, Delegate Tata, and Delegate Kent. The Higher Education subcommittee will be chaired by Delegate Sewell. That will be meeting after the Monday, so traditionally be meeting right after this meeting. So next Monday will be the first meeting of the Higher Education Committee, and it will meet up immediately upon adjournment of the full committee. In addition to Chair Sewell, Delegate Clark, Delegate Lawfer, Delegate Lavier Bowling, Delegate McQuinn, Delegate Doherty, Delegate Garrett, Delegate Scott, and Delegate Tata. And then lastly, the Early Childhood and Innovation Committee will be meeting on Wednesdays immediately upon adjournment of the full committee. That will be chaired by Delegate Converse Fowler. She'll be joined by Delegate Askew, Delegate Cousins, Delegate Sewell, Delegate Anderson, Delegate Guzman, Delegate Reeser, Delegate Kent, Delegate Zaire, and Delegate Whittle. That you'll see that here posted here very shortly this morning, including the agenda. And if there is no further business to come before the committee, I will turn to my esteemed Vice Chair.
I move that we do now adjourn.
The motion's been made and properly seconded to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, the meeting is adjourned.